Well, hello, it's Paul Osborne here. Welcome to the auction wrap-up from the weekend. Today's Monday. We thought we'd do something a little bit different and review the auctions that have happened in the inner north over the weekend. And as expected, another strong weekend. 82% was the official clearance rate for Melbourne, and the inner north was quite strong. There was a few pass-ins. Overall, though, for the right property that was priced well, it did do exceptionally well. We'll start with ones that didn't do as well or weren't as well as planned. The first being in Northgate, number 14, Separation Street. I believe there was about 4 people at the auction there, and the auction was conducted in the lounge room. Naturally a busy street, so it's the sensible thing to do if you're the selling agent, to take people away from the main traffic. But that passed in on a vendor bid of 570, no further bids at all from that particular point. Number 28 Michael Street, if we sweep around now to North Fitzroy, which was classic boom style Victorian, pretty basic inside, 2 bedrooms. That sold for 807,500, which was a solid result. It was about right, and shows the strength North Fitzroy has in particular at the moment with their single front properties. They have really lifted from last year. Last year you could buy considerably less in North Fitzroy for the right single front property. Over to 120 Victoria Street. This is in Fitzroy. This property sold for $895. It had been on the market previously as a private sale, and it just shows you a slight change in the way that the property's been marketed, and it sold reasonably well, quoted 8 to 880. An auction I went to on Saturday was conducted at 331 Gore Street. That was quoted between 8 to 880,000, and that sold very, very competitively for 980. There was about 4 bidders there, and it was a bit slow to start off with, as most auctions are, but once it started, it really rocketed through in $10,000 increments and sold very, very quickly for 980, which was a pretty good result, I think, for Fitzroy and 2-storey period homes. Now, over in Collingwood, Emma, who works with me, went and saw the auction at 55A Gold Street. Now, that was quoted between 520 and 570. Renovated 2-bedroom single front property, really good home. Only 2 bidders, and that sold for 740, which is really, really strong. And they fought it out from the start. And a lady, I believe, purchased it who really wanted it. She really fought hard to make sure that property was hers. And from what I understand, it didn't look like there was any way she wasn't going to walk out with a signed contract for that particular property. To some bigger transactions, Parkville, 26 Bale Street, sold for an undisclosed sum. It did pass in at 1.675, and it sold a short time after for a tickle more than that. Look, I'm sure those owners would have been hoping for maybe a bit more than what it did end up selling for. We respect the results undisclosed, so we can't unfortunately say what that is. But I think Parkville has come back, certainly like North Fitzroy did from late last year. Parkville really struggled for its 2-storey Victorians, and we have seen that start to come back. This is quite a substantial home, so it's certainly testing it into the high $1 million to sort of $2 million range. There's not too many evidence or too many results to support that, so it's still interesting to see how that market is performing at present. If we sweep across now to North Melbourne, number 70 Lothian Street, which was 720 plus, that sold for 807 for, like I said, a good Victorian 2-storey home. I thought that was pretty good value. I didn't think that was over the top, so I think that was a reasonably good purchase. And back over to Clifton Hill, number 1 Heckfield Street, which was 495 to 545, sold for 586, which is really now your entree into that particular market. A really small 2-bedroom single front. They don't come much smaller than the one in Peckfield Street, but that was a reasonably solid result. And Brunswick, 338 Hutchison Street, which was a double front home, absolutely knackered in terms of its condition. When the text says it's in poor condition, also you can take that's going to be exactly the case when someone's marketing a property. But that passed in at 6:30. Vendor bid had some subdivision potential for potentially some development, and with an 18-metre frontage, I certainly see there's a bit of value in that one. The reserve there currently at the moment is 675, and that's now for private sale. And the last one back to Northcote, which was 31 Barry Street, that sold for, it was 660 to 715, sold for an undisclosed sum, a bit above that quote range. Pretty strong result. So really, for the right home on Saturday, for the good quality stock, there was certainly fierce competition out there, no doubt. For a place on a really busy street or a few negatives, there was some pass-ins, but overall, a very, very strong weekend.